Welcome to this episode of From the Center Seat, and I'm going to share with you some thoughts on the opening statement. It has become, as I've said in previous sessions, increasingly prevalent for everybody to just skip the opening and go right into caucus. Yet myself and a lot of other mediators still believe there is some value in the opening statement in the joint session, in other words. So how do you decide? Well, the answer is you explore this with the mediator, who explores this with all parties before the mediation. If you come to a mediation cold, with no preparation and anticipation of what an opening statement might entail, yeah, there's a very good possibility it could blow up the whole thing. However, if you choreograph the opening statement with the mediator ahead of time, that can be avoided and some very positive things can come of it. So what are some of the things to discuss with your mediator about the opening? Well, what does the plaintiff need to accomplish? Does the plaintiff thinks it will be helpful for his client to get a day in court experience and hear an opening? If so, how strong does that opening need to be? And how should the defense react to it? And those things can be sorted out ahead of the mediation to have a productive opening. I've had many mediations where a plaintiff's lawyer explained to me that they needed to open strong, and they were concerned that they would have an equally strong reaction from the defendant. However, I can then discuss this with the defendant and explain to them that the plaintiff is going to open strong, and as I often say, fight fire with water. Let the plaintiff have their day, figure they have a little bit more license than the defense. They're dealing with a one-time client who may have very, very strong emotions about what's going on. What can the defense do in response? Not fight back vigorously and aggressively. For example, in an aviation case, it is not going to work out very well if you're looking at the widow of a deceased pilot and blaming the accident on that pilot's error. Those are things to be kept to the mediator. You can simply say, as a defendant, obviously we don't agree on various things we've heard, but we're here to work with you. And again, this apology, there's a lot of pushback on the notion of an apology, but you can apologize without falling on your sword. A defendant and an insurer and it's the lawyer can all express regret for the circumstances that bring them to the mediation. Again, these are all case specific and to be adjusted, but I encourage you to talk to your mediator in advance of the mediation and consider whether the opening statement can be productive. It may be an opportunity to build a bridge. It may be an opportunity for the plaintiff to show off what an effective witness their client is going to be in a very early mediation, perhaps where a deposition has not taken place yet. And it may be an opportunity for the defense to break through the barrier and put forward a human side to this mediation that they may not be expecting and may really, really help to move things along. So the point of this is don't just assume that the opening statement is not worth doing. Explore it. As a mediator, I never do openings unless all the parties agree to do them. And obviously they wouldn't agree if my time with them had not been productive and we had not come up with a strategy for it to be productive. With that, I leave you to our next edition of From the Center Seat. This is Rick Alamanti from the Center Seat. See you at the big table. From the Center Seat is a copyrighted production from Alamanti Law Offices and Alamanti Mediation Services. If you found it useful, please share it and share it in its entirety. Until then, see you at the big table.